So I caught a Pace Morby Instagram live this morning. I was only on it for a couple of minutes, but he dropped a golden nugget that I think we all should realize. If you don't know who Pace Morby is, he is obviously a real estate investor, very well known in the sub two space. I believe he owns over 2,000 units. He is friends with Ken McElroy, who I believe owns 10,000 units, and Grant Cardone, which I think owns 22,000 units. So what did Pace Morby say the key is for all of us to be successful? He said, folks, don't try to be like us. Focus on getting to 5. Obviously, on this channel, one rental at a time, we've talked about getting to 4. But hey, if you want to be 20% better and get to 5, I am okay with that. I want to talk about what is enough. I want to talk about the right goal. I want to talk about the idea that, folks, the goalposts don't need to be 100. They don't need to be 1,000 or 10,000. 4 or 5 rentals will change your life. Matt, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think in my investing career, I changed from Gordon Gecko to, why'd you do it? It's because I could ruin it. It's because I could do it. And that's where a lot of, wackos like us, Mike, in sales, it's because I could do it. That's it. Wanted to prove myself I could do it. Someone said, you can't do 500% of your number. So I did 527% of my number. You said it couldn't be done. I did it. I made a fortune and I made you lose, which is more important to me.
Which is more important. It's funny how that
I
is,
made you
right?
lose. Yeah. And so I think the real thing for most people is, honestly, as they look at their situation, very, very, very few people can see a vacant lot and recognize that that can become 150 units. Very few people can do that. Not only can maybe they can picture it, but they have no idea where to go from here to here to do all of those things that need to get done to get there. So I think that the biggest mistake that investors make is trying to grow too quickly and trying to grow unhealthy. They're mortgaging everything and doing everything they can to just get the next one. And that's certainly not a position you want to be in. And I think that a lot of it comes from contentment. Be content. Enjoy the journey. Get the first one and then get the next one. But you don't have to do it. You don't, everyone's like, well, at this number, I'm going to change these practices in my business. Why aren't you changing those practices now? That's exactly it. So do it the way that you want to do it. Slow and steady. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And I think that's the biggest mistake that people make. And I think the Pace and Grant, I mean, I still think Grant's wrong. Grant is wildly entertaining. One of my favorite YouTubers for sure. He's wildly entertaining, but I think his concepts are all wrong because the number of people that can be successful with that is infinitesimally small. And I'd rather do what we're doing, which is help somebody get the first, the second, the third, the fourth that makes an impact for that particular person. No one's going to ever take my course and become the next Grant Cardone.
No.
They are not, because that's not my model. They're going to become, they become the next me with a couple hundred units? Absolutely. 200, 300, 400 units? They absolutely could. However,
in a decade
starts with, in a decade or two. No, right. 2. Like 2. Even for me at 15 years, I was 60 units at 15 years. That's right. It. So it's slow, it's measured, it's slow and steady wins the race. And it's just being deliberate and intentional in those activities. You build the first one, then you get the next. And when I say build, you do the first project, you do the second project, one after the other, improving every single time. And quite frankly, I don't think we talk about it enough. There's a reason that we put 60 years of experience into our courses, because we all have stuff that are part of each other's courses. There's 60 years of experience there. Buy it, don't buy it. I don't give a flip. But that is absolutely going to save you time and money if you learn from 60 years of experience, because why else would you be looking for a mentor? Right. All these, and a mentor is not going to be able to give you the amount of time that you need to get successful. They're just not. They can't do it. So I would just encourage people. I think Pace is exactly right. You got to get small to get big. And because you don't always just have to get big. Look at Dion. He's the prettiest of the three of us. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. He has the fewest tenants. That's why that works that way.
Yeah, I just love to hear. And again, I had no idea what I would be hearing in Pace's live stream. I clicked on it because the title was something like "What is enough?" I'm like, oh, little Coach Carson. Let me go figure out what enough is. Right. That's why I clicked on it. And I think he's right. I mean, I just love the idea that somebody who's wildly successful as he is now kind of getting on the mindset of, guys, just just get started, right? Let's get to 4, in his case, 5. Dion, I know this is important to you. What say you?
So, game theory, really quick.
Hmm.
I'm going to say some names,
Okay.
and then I'm going to ask you a question. Pace Morby,
Hmm.
Ken McElroy, Thatch Newen.
Mhm.
Mike, are they, when you think of those names, you think of their portfolios, but do you think
Sure.
smart or stupid?
Oh, smart.
Okay, right. Just clear. We obviously know they're smart, right? Okay. Here's why I think they're smart. When we had downtrending rates and uptrending prices, subject to syndications, all made sense.
Absolutely. Yep.
So we had, I would say a decade, but we probably had 8 years of this is the perfect storm to do this in. So they
Yes.
speak to people who would see the logic. Rates are coming down, prices are going up, rents are going up. I'm going to jump into this. Is that the environment we're in now? No. Okay.
No.
So they are now going, okay, in order to have the funnel to get to the people, right? Ken has Daniil, now they're married, and she has 3 paid off rentals, so they can reference his 10,000 units. But here's 3. This is what the power of 3 paid off rentals can do for you. Thatch was just recently on, either on or it was a clip, I'm not sure, on the Financial Firefighter, where he was saying, look, you don't need all these dozens and dozens of units. You just need 5 paid off rentals. He specifically said the words 5 paid off rentals. Your life is completely different.
Yeah.
Pace talking
I
about
love this. I love all of this. Everybody's coming around to 4 or 5. I'm feeling good.
So here's the part where they're smart, and Matt says this really well. People like smart, not clever. They are clever, and then they were like, where's the money? Syndications, subject to courses. Let's get all these people into this what works now thing, right? Buying a rental, putting a tenant in it, and waiting for years for appreciation, principal pay down, inflation-based debt destruction, all these things to happen to your asset makes sense in every. You could have bought a rental in 2008, and you're doing amazing right now. So we stayed consistent. You just get to 4, buy a rental, 1 rental at a time, buy the next one, focus on the next deal, do the work, right? Versus run the waves of this is working now, but let's go back to basics. And then what next year is going to be the thing that seems to logically make sense and has a window of opportunity, while we're going to be the drum beaters just going, this is what works. It's boring. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's just not sexy. And then a decade or 2 later, your life is absolutely the dream life that everybody wants, but not many people are willing to put the decade or 2 in to get.
Yeah. It is so fun to see, and you're absolutely right. You know, one of the things that I spend a lot of time trying to do at the macro level is understand cycles. And one of the things I did in this current cycle is I talked about us entering a buyer's market, right? Buyer's markets in real estate don't last long. I think this one will be 6 to 8 months. But buyer's markets are where the opportunities are, but demand just disappears, which is what makes it a buyer's market, because it becomes easier to find motivated sellers. But the other thing that's important, to your point, is I've identified cycles where different strategies work really, really well. Like there was a time where Burr was the right thing. But Burr is not a strategy that works always. There's a time, and I Pace Morby and I talked like 3 years ago. He met me at my office in Fresno at the Hub. It might have been 4 years ago. And I think it was right. I think it was 19. So it would have been before the pandemic, where sub 2 really, it always works, but it wasn't like it's time. I remember telling him and Jamil, who met me at my office, I'm like, guys, there's going to be a time where sub 2 is like the thing, right? Do you guys remember 1981? Of course they don't, but they know Robert G. Allen and they knew all that stuff, right? I'm like, your time in the sun is coming. And, you know, we're there, right? You got a bunch of people with 3%. Now it's 8%, and they're killing it. It's probably does 100 deals a year or something ridiculous. But there'll be a time where that doesn't, the sun's not out anymore.
Right.
But to your point, slow and steady, right? 1 rental at a time, a couple $100 cash flow, only get to 4, shoot, go 20% better, get to 5. It's not sexy, but it works. And the other thing to talk about here, I just want to put it out there, given there's, this other individual that, always talks about don't chase cash flow. This is not 4 or 5 units is not going to allow you to quit your job. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you, you're going to have an amazing retirement. You get to a point like that says where these 4 or 5 units are free and clear and they're still producing income. And, oh, by the way, you could do a cash out refi or an equity squeeze or this or that. you're going to have a great life. Debt's not taxable. So, I just love, I didn't know what I was going to get in Pace's, light. What do they call them? Stream on IG. But I was so happy to hear him say, I wish he said 4, but that's for selfish reason. 5 works for me just as well. But that's awesome. I just love the fact that people that are much bigger than us, Thatch, Ken, Pace, are saying, guys, just stop trying to be me at 2,000 units and go get 5. Because if you just reset, I have never met anybody who can't get to 5. Most of us will never get to 100.
No.
An infinitesimal amount will get over 1,000. But
Yes.
everybody can get to 5. Matt?
Yes. I agree. Everybody can get to 5. And I think the other thing too is it's that slow and steady race. I think the bigger thing that people need to focus more on is time in the market, not timing the market.
Right.
So I started in my early 20s. That's why I could retire in my early 40s. And I could have retired in my mid 30s. So I think after 10 or 15 years, that's why I think when you're 45 or 50 and you don't know what to do, this will make retirement better.
Oh yeah, I mean, think about
Right?
it. Think about somebody being 50. They don't own a
Right.
rental today. They
Right.
get 1 over the next 5 years. So they have 5 at 55.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you do another 10 years, you're 65. You've got more options. You could sell one, you could do this, you could do that. It's options.
Yeah, sell one, pay one down. I mean, whatever you've got, but you have a ton more options. It will make your retirement better. But if you're in your 20s
Oh,
and you
yes.
house hack at 23, 24, 25, like I did, I'm in my mid late 30s and I'm like, I actually don't need to work anymore, but I've got a really good job. I really enjoy my job at that time.
Yeah.
So I kept on going. And then as soon as I stopped enjoying my job, bye.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this is Dion knows this because he been interviewed by him. We have some family friends over. They brought their kids. He's 16, she's 14. Grant interviewing various millionaires this week. And we've had lots of conversations about money and wealth and all of this. And I told him, just between you and I, Grant, if I had to do it all over again, I would find a way to buy a fourplex at 20. I would house hack it.
Hell
I
yeah.
would buy another fourplex at 22,
Hell yeah.
24, 26, 28. And by 30, I would be financially free.
Yep.
So that was point 1. Point 2 is I would probably tell college to F off.
Yep.
I would go do something in the trades, something with
Yep.
my hands,
Yep.
right? Because I think blue collar, having a skill or a trade is always going to be interesting. AI is not going to replace it. And by the way, you're not going to take on 6 figures in debt.
Yep.
I mean, think about that. You're 30 years old. You've got what? 20 units. You're already financially free, and you have a trade that you could work 10, 20 hours a week if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Grant, that's the thing. All right. If you're asking me what to do, go do that.
Yep.
Dion, what do you think?
So here's where it gets a little nuanced, but this is where the real power of 5 comes from, right? If somebody said, if you have 5 rentals, your life's going to be fundamentally better, right? Or if Thatch said, if you have 5 paid off rentals, you're going to be free. And it's not because if somebody went right now and they says, okay, I have $500,000, I'm going to buy 5 duplexes. I'm going to $100,000 on each one. I've got reserves or whatever, and I'm going to own 5. That's not the same as doing a 10-year journey to buy one every 2 years. Exactly. This is why the 10-year journey set me free. The original plan was even lower than what it ended up being because of that thing speeding up at the end. But if you save for 2 years, buy your first property, save for 2 years, buy the next one, and you do this all the way till you get to 10 years, now you've got 5 properties, right? Here's where the magic is. One of those properties you've had for 8 years. Exactly. 8 chances for rent increases, 8 chances to refinance, recast, get a better rate, improve, add closets, add whatever. Another property you've had for 6 years and 4 years and 2 years. And then so the idea is that compounds the type of income that those properties are giving. So when we say I'm going to buy a rental, it's probably going to make a couple $100 a month in cash flow. Do any of your properties that you don't touch the equity, don't cash out refinance, after 10 years, get a couple $100 a month in cash flow?
No, it might be a couple hundred a week.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I'm 18 units. 20,000. So it's a little over 1,000 a month average per unit, having them for years
Yeah.
now. And when I bought
Right.
them, they weren't that. They didn't
No.
start
Oh,
that.
not even close.
I bought some.
Yeah.
It was a 2-1, 2-1. Now it's a 3, 1.5, 3, 1.5, and the mortgage is still $1,400, but each side's rented out for more than 2,000. Like
There you go.
that happens over a couple of years. You buy it, you don't just do that right away. I've got a tenant in there for 3 or 4 years, and then they move out. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go in. I didn't kick the tenant out.
Yeah.
Now I'll add that closet, turn the den into a bedroom, and rent has an explosion. So it comes from having things over time and making those adjustments. And so when people go, you can't do it now. Well, of course you can't do it now. You got to save for 2 years before you buy your first one. Someone starting today is in the 2034 graduating class.
Exactly. This is a decade. I keep telling people this. It's not get rich quick. It's not a 1 or 2 year thing. If you're going to be on this road with us, you're going to be on this journey for a decade. And that's one of the reasons I'm so proud of what we're doing inside the school community. We now have 227 people
That's
on
awesome.
this journey at different paces, at different numbers. And they're starting to interact with each other. There's 2 accountability groups. I'm not a part of any of them.
Mhm.
It's just the right. This school community is going to be, it's going to be something. It already is something. I think it's going to continue to grow. And it would not shock me if we're over 500 students pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Just because if you want to be somewhere, it's the spot to be. And again, the price point's silly. It's $20. It's not free. It's not meant to be free because I don't want the haters and trolls.
Mm-mm.
$20 a month is, it's going to keep them away. So I'm so glad we're doing this. I'm so glad I pivoted and went that direction.
I agree.
I think you're gonna like it a lot. I do the members only conversations, and it's just it's a couple bucks, but it keeps it out. So the first thing when you do lives, I set it to subscribers only, and you have to be a subscriber for 5 minutes. So it gets rid of the bots. Generally gets rid of the haters. They're like, I don't want to click subscribe because I don't support his channel, and I want him to be talking about crashes like everyone else. So you get all that out of there. But if you get into the members thing, where you get into school, where you get into the Zoom, where everybody's in there together,
Yeah.
and you can interact that way, it's that you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Start hanging out with 227 people doing the same thing.
Exactly. And you guys are going to be doing a session, each of you individually inside
We
school.
are.
And maybe you'll do one together. I don't know. But you guys are pretty amazing.
We
So
do that too.
I
there you
would say we do both together, and we just pick a day at a time and we do them like that. And
oh,
Sure.
I'm up for whatever.
all
Me
right.
too.
You guys are amazing. I will be at a secret destination. We'll see if you guys can figure out where I'm at because I'll still try to do my daily financial news. But having you guys pitch in and help out in the school community in the next couple of weeks is pretty awesome. Matt, where can they find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram, 9 p.m. on Thursday nights. It's real estate talk, late night.
After dark or
Yeah,
late night.
it truly is. It's after dark. All of my house is asleep, so it's after dark.
There you go. There you go. Dion?
Nice. You can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom, where I am often trying to figure out how to get my channel canceled.
All right, guys, you're amazing. Thank you for being here.
Anytime.
Ciao.